Well, without further ado, it's time for the June Comic Haul. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this, you already know, is my monthly comic book haul. Every month, I like to show you guys the collected editions that I've added to the Comics Are Dope library. You get to see how quickly I'm running out of shelf space, and it's a fun time for us all. Now, before I get into this, I got to give a huge shout out to our channel sponsor, Organic Priced Books. If you are interested in any of the books that you see here, they are all available at Organic Priced Books for great prices, as the name implies. Now, you can go to OP or bjkicks.link/OPB. That'll take you to the site directly. And if you use my discount code BJKicks at checkout, you'll save $2 on your order every single time. Now, let's go ahead and get into this. I always like to do these in two categories. There's the books I bought and the books that may have been a gift from a publisher or a retail partner or what have you. These are actually going to be a little bit mixed up because I just kind of organized them by trim size. But hey, let's get started with the Sketched Book 2024. Sketched, if you're not familiar, is a website by my man David Harper, who is also the host of the Off Panel podcast. Oh, snap. I didn't know there was a sticker in here. So every year he puts out like this sort of, I don't know if you would call this a zine. It's a perfect bound book. It's got quite a few pages in it. But this book, basically, there's a few of the articles or big features that he did on his site that he commits to print form. There are some new features. We get like some cool illustrations. So every year he does this, offers it to his subscribers and I guess the general public as well. But subscribers to Off Panel get a bit of a discount. And it's just a fun thing. So this is my second time getting one of these. And yeah, I'm very excited. This one's got Kelly Sue DeConnick, Jib Zdarsky, Peach Momoko. And it's I really love the design on these. This is cool. And this has one of the running jokes on the channel, although this is not. Actually, never mind. I don't know who this is. I was going to say one of the jokes on the channel is like the fact that he's a huge fan of Stiltman. And this clearly inspired by Jordan sticker has like somebody with very long legs and alien antenna. I don't think that's Stiltman. It looks like a woman. But I guess I don't know about comics, enough about comics to like identify who this is. But it's a cool sticker. Very cool. Now, let's keep things going with an entry you've seen already. This is The Moon is Following Us, Volume 1 by Daniel Warren Johnson, Riley Rossmo, Mike Spicer. Russ Wooten on letters, right? I have to assume it's always Russ Wooten on letters. No, it's Sean Lee on letters. Good thing I read the credits. But you might remember I got this book in last month or in May as well. Turns out there was a misprint. And so, Image kind of ordered all those copies destroyed and sent out replacements. And so here is my replacement copy of The Moon is Following Us. If you were not aware that the first print had some issues, go to your local comic shop, go to the retailer you ordered it from. It's probably going to be a little bit more difficult for online people, but just try to get that sorted out because the replacement should have been free. You paid for the book already. So there you go. Shout out to my LCS for that. Next up, another book I purchased. This is Wolverine, Volume 1, In the Bones. This is Solid and Ahmed, Martin Kokolo. This is written by Solid and Ahmed, art by Martin Kokolo, colors by Brian Valenza, who is one of my favorite colorists in comics right now. I gotta say, I didn't give this series much of a chance. Just honestly, coming out of the Krakoa era, nothing really felt super compelling to me. Like, I compare this to the last Wolverine series, and Wolverine's got like this CIA friend and the little girl and all this stuff. And then here's like Wolverine's in the woods fighting a beast. But, it's time to give this a shot. See what the reason I purchased this was because I'm working on a From the Ashes deep dive where I review the first trade of every From the Ashes series. It keeps getting pushed back deeper and deeper into the timeline. I need to hurry up and finish it before it is irrelevant. So, Wolverine, Volume 1. Next up, Goobers. This is written by Cody Ziegler, art by Ryan Lee, colors by Kurt Michael Russell and Vittorio Astone, with letters by And World Design. Shout out to Darren Bennett. But this is a sort of horror series from Vault Comics where it's like monsters coming out of people's noses, or at least that's what the cover implies. And so this was a book like I never, it's like a bug coming out of this dude's body. So kind of like Alien, like, gory kind of body horror type stuff. And these monsters are called Goobers. So interesting stuff there. And yeah, I don't generally do horror books, but I can deal with monsters. For me, it's the supernatural stuff that I really am not a big fan of. So I wanted to try this out because I've never read a bad Cody Ziegler book. $19.99 on that from Vault Comics, and shout out to my LCS. Here it is. Next up, this is a book that I got at Heroes Con. So technically it was a publisher gift, but you guys remember Sigma Comics, right? This is Calico, Volume 2, Morality Play. So on this channel, I've reviewed quite a few different issues of Calico, who, if you're not familiar, is a vigilante who targets people who have abused animals in some way. When they were doing Kickstarters, a lot of the each Kickstarter would highlight a different animal rights charity organization. But the original series went 8 issues. What I did not know is that Double H and the folks at Sigma Comics have continued this book. This trade paperback contains issues 9 through 14. And it's got some really interesting artists here. We got Double H, we got Mike Barron, Klaus Janson on the cover, who, if I remember correctly, taught Double H at School of Visual Arts. So cool stuff there. Anyway, Calico, Volume 2, Morality Play. If you want to check out Sigma Comics, go to their website. They've got all the original 8 issues. They've got the first 8 issues collected into a trade, which I kind of need to get my hands on that. They've also got the second batch of issues in a trade as well. I think that's going to be the best way to collect it, honestly. Next up, a book I purchased on Kickstarter. This is Illuminati. This is written by Brian Edward Hill. It's got art by Dennis Cowan, inks by Bill Sienkiewicz. This, like I said, was a Kickstarter book. So it came with a couple of goodies. We've got these prints of 2 of the hip hop album covers that inspired, or that these cover homages for the individual issues. So first issue number 1, DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood album tribute. Second one, Ice Cube, Death Certificate album cover tribute. But basically this woman, she's an aspiring musician. She comes to LA to like fulfill her music dreams and finds out that while she's there, she's coming to, for complete her dreams, ends up passing away. And so her sister, her twin sister, also comes to LA to basically investigate the murder. The twist in here that kind of takes this firmly into like adult readers territory. The sister kind of comes back and sort of haunts everyone in the same state that she was found in when she passed away, which was fully naked. So there's that. So definitely not something I would typically read. And you buy a book kind of on Kickstarter sight unseen. And so I wanted to support it for the creative team. Don't know how long this will stay in the collection though, just being completely honest. Love that cover by Sanford Green though. If you're interested in the series though, it did just start coming out in singles this week from AWA. So you didn't fully miss out if you didn't get the Kickstarter. Next up, another gift actually. This from IDW. This is the Ninja Turtles Volume 1 Library Edition. Return to New York. I want to say Escape from New York. Return to New York. So you guys know the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series at IDW ran about 150 issues plus a ton of different miniseries and spin-outs and stuff like that. And all that was collected in the IDW Ultimate Collection hardcovers. I think there are 18 of them plus the source book. This kind of starts a brand new sort of collection. And this is basically just collecting the immediate TMNT series. As it stands, there are 9 issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out right now, and they've announced several miniseries. There's the Mutant Nation series that's about to come to an end. They just announced a Shredder series. I want to say Bebop and Rocksteady are getting their own book very soon. So what I'm hoping for is that eventually they collect like a new Ultimate Collection where they include all those tie-ins in one book. But anyway, this issues 1 through 6 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, plus some really cool extras, a lot of like black and white pages, process pages, cover gallery, stuff like that is all included in here for the price of $49.99. So yeah, I like this. I feel like for the issue count, the price is a little steep. The extras definitely make up for it, but if I had the choice, I would probably wait for one of those thicker collections around the $80 price point. But we'll see if those even come to fruition. Next up, book I purchased from my LCS. This is the codename G.I. Joe Deluxe Edition, Book 1. Josh Williamson, Tom Riley. This collects Duke issues 1 through 5 and Cobra Commanders issues 1 through 5, plus some material from that Energon Universe special from last year. So this is basically the start of G.I. Joe in the Energon Universe. And before they did the full G.I. Joe title, they decided to do a bunch of miniseries. So we got Duke and Cobra Commander, which is what's in this volume. The next volume will have Scarlet and Destro. And then we'll get into the G.I. Joe series proper. Once I got that Transformers hardcover, I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to collect the Energon Universe. So I have codename G.I. Joe. And I guess I should get Void Rivals. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like I can do without Void Rivals. But shout out to Skybound. Now, I think everything else from here on out was gifted. So we'll start off with a gift from channel sponsor Organic Price Books. This is XMen, the Fatal Attractions Omnibus. And, sorry. All right, so this is the Fatal Attractions Omnibus. This is a direct market variant by Bob Larkin, if I'm not mistaken, with that shattered glass. I don't even know how well you can see it here. It's a really cool effect up close, but you definitely like, I'm looking at it, like studying it like this. Like, oh, wow, look at all these different faces. There's Jubilee. There's Bishop. But I really like this cover. Anyway, Fatal Attractions. I told you guys I was going to stop blind buying books, and kind of the only exception has been like X-Men, like 90s and Claremont era X-Men. This, of course, takes place after Claremont leaves the title. It is like one of those cool crossover events. What I remember about this is it being known for those like hollow foil covers, and of course, for being the event that took Wolverine's adamantium. And so I decided I had to have this one. And this, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this completes all the gaps that I had up until that X-Men Blue and Gold Omnibus comes out later this year. So it's pretty much my last X book. That's bittersweet. Sweet to look at them on the shelves. Bitter to have completed a collecting goal and now be like, okay, well, what's the next goal? Anyway, next up from Titan Comics, this is a book from the Michael Moorcock Library. This is Elric, Volume 1, The Balance Lost. And this book, I didn't even know it was coming. It just kind of came in the mail one day. And it's written by Chris Roberson, art by Francesco Biagini. It's probably pronounced one of those ways. Stephen Downer on colors. But it's about this dude who has this sword called the Stormbringer. And, you know, he's out there slaying zombie-looking monsters and just, like, mythical beasts. And I've only gotten through, like, the first few pages of this. So I need to finish it. And we'll do an overview and review on the channel. And now it is time for the Mighty Marvel Comics Hour. And we're going to go ahead and, I guess these will be reverse chronological order. The most recent books first. Let's start with Wolverine Revenge. Jonathan Hickman, Greg Capullo, writing a Wolverine story for the ages. And it's basically, let's see, who was this team? There was like a sort of team that just, you know, really tried to make life difficult for Wolverine. And so he goes on a quick revenge mission. There was an EMP fired and all this stuff going on. And the communications are down like throughout the world. But we see the team ends up being, I want to say it was like Omega Red, Deadpool, and Sabretooth, who like really have Wolverine in a bind. And so he goes on a pretty bloody mission to enact revenge. And what's interesting about it is, like, of course, this was one of those Red Band series. And so I think Colossus as well. Red Band series where you paid a little bit extra to get the polybagged version with a little bit more blood and guts on the page. I don't think you need the extra blood and guts to really enjoy this story. And a perfect example of that is the fact that this trade paperback does not include those. So if you're wanting to wait for a Red Band version, I think there may be one on the horizon. Honestly, though, just grab that one. It's good enough. Next up, Iron Man, Volume 1. Spencer Ackerman. Is it Julius Ota? Yep, Julius Ota, Javier Pena, Jethro Morales, Rod Reyes. Colors by Alex Sinclair. This, basically Tony Stark trying to get control of his company, get it back from being a warmongering company, and battling demons all the way. Literal demons at some points. The Stark rock song war. Next up is Moonnight, Fist of Khonshu. This collects the 0 issue that was the big surprise last year after Blood Hunt, and then issues 1 through 5. Moonnight, Fist of Khonshu. Moonnight, Fist of Khonshu. What do you need to know before you read this book? Let's just say Wolverine. Moon Knight was off the table. Now he's back on the table. This is going to fit perfectly after your Moon Knight by Jed MacKay Omnibus. This is what I would assume would be the start of a Moon Knight by Jed MacKay Omnibus 2. I guess they would just call it a Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu Omnibus, though, since there's no Volume 1 on Moon Knight originally. Anyway, there you go. I actually really want to get caught up on that. Jed MacKay, Alessandro Cappuccio. Most beautiful art in comics right now. Next up, XMen, The Raid on Grey Malcin. This is a 4-part crossover between XMen and Uncanny X-Men, written by Jed MacKay and Gail Simone. Art on this is by the respective series artists Ryan Stegman, Federico Vincentini, Neto Diaz, David Marquez, Edgar Salazar, and Javier Garrón. Basically, when we started out the whole new From the Ashes era of X-Men, Rogue was leading her own team in Uncanny X-Men, and Cyclops was leading the main team in X-Men. They're kind of at odds on how to deal with stuff. There was an entity thrown into this Grey Malcin prison, and then, it was threatened that they were going to come and free someone. And, well, that's exactly what happens in this Raid on Grey Malcin crossover, while Storm and Cyclops, their sort of feud, comes to a head. Good stuff there. Next up is Storm. This is probably my pick of the month for Marvel. Storm Volume 1 by Murewa Ayodele, Luciano Vecchio, and Lucas Wernick. I really, really enjoy this series. This in the From the Ashes era, Storm is basically like the most famous mutant. She's like the mutant ambassador to the world. There is an event that happens, and Storm has to kind of take the brunt of the blame in admitting that it was a mutant's fault. And so the world's kind of turned against Storm, and at the same time, Storm's facing like a bit of an existential crisis at the same time because she's facing this near-death experience, and so she's going on this sort of mission to save her own life and, come to terms with her mutantdom, her humanity, and then all of a sudden she's ascended to like God status in some ways. And I've probably said too much about this book already, but this was my favorite X book, period, in singles, and probably my favorite trade this month as well. I never bring water to these festivities. I don't know why, but next up is Star Wars, The Battle of Jaku. This is written by Alex Segura across several different miniseries. This is set in the aftermath of Return of the Jedi, and so it contains stuff that we never saw in movies, which is interesting. But this collects Battle of Jaku, Insurgency Rising 1 through 4, Republic Under Siege 1 through 4, and Last Stand 1 through 4 by Alex Segura, Leonard Kirk, Stefano Raphael, Jethro Morales, Luke Ross, Rochelle Rosenberg, Alex Sinclair, and Jim Campbell. By the way, I love this art on the back by Torrin Clark. You will not mistake a Torrin Clark cover for anyone else's covers ever. Phil Noto on the front of this, by the way. I think this is cool because a lot of times we get these Star Wars books and it's like, who is this in this book? But this has all the familiar cast. Luke, Leia, Han, we get Billy D. Williams. What is his name? What is Billy D. Williams' character's name? I forgot. Lando Calrissian. Anyway, so I like this. My wife was all over this, by the way. And next up, we got some epic collections in from Marvel this month. So first up, Iron Man Epic Collection Volume 7, 10 Rings to Rule the World. Bill Mantlo, George Tuska, sort of classic Iron Man art and stories. Like, look at that. These epic collections are like time capsules for me. They will go on the epic collection shelf. And when I want to like get a fix of Iron Man, I know where I'm going. Actually, this one looks really interesting. Next up, we've got the new XMen Volume 2 Epic Collection, Modern Era Epic Collection. This Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely, I think this would conclude. Does this conclude it? New X-Men 127 through 141. Now I gotta look at the table of contents to see if this is all that would be. Yeah, there's only 2 so far. E is for Extinction is Volume 1 and then New Worlds. This, basically being the line that revitalized X-Men after Chris Claremont, and then Astonishing X-Men comes after this with Joss Whedon. So cool stuff there. New X-Men. This will have to be a giveaway prize because I actually have this in omnibus format. Next up, Alien, A Galaxy of Nightmares. I really love that Marvel is doing these thick trades. They don't call them complete collections. They're just big trades. But this collects the entire Alien saga from Philip Kennedy Johnson. This was across 3 different miniseries. 2. There was a 12-issue maxi series from 2021, a 6-issue miniseries from 2022, and then an annual for 2022, all written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And this is a big horror sci-fi fest for all you horror sci-fi nerds. But yeah, so I hadn't read any Alien besides the Hickman Aliens versus Avengers with the Sad Ribbage. And I got to tell you, that stuff is amazing. It makes me want to go back. And now I have a book that I can go back and read more about aliens. Because when am I going to have time to watch the movie? I got Coco Melon on my TV. Anyway, next up is Fantastic Four, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Grant Morrison and Jay Lee. A part of a bunch of trades that Marvel has put out in the last couple of months to really allow folks to get their Fantastic Four fix before heading to the movies to see Fantastic Four First Steps. You will actually see this book featured among several others in a video very soon where I'm like, hey, if you're going to see Fantastic Four, maybe read these first. And lastly, SpiderMan, Legend of the Spider Clan. This collects the Marvel Mangaverse Spider-Man series from 2002, and then Spider-Man Legend of the Spider Clan 1 through 5. This is written by Kari Andrews and C.B. Cebulski, illustrated by Kari Andrews, Scotty Young, and Kari Randolph. 3 of my favorites, actually. So it's got like this cool, like animated manga style. Like you can kind of tell who Scotty Young is. Let's see. Can I tell Kari Andrews from anyone else? Okay, I think this one is Kari Andrews. And then let's find Kari Randolph. Because all of them have like very distinct styles. So yeah, now I'm just sitting here trying to pick out all the art from all the different artists. But anyway, Legend of the Spider Clan. This actually looks really fun. I might read this like now. Anyway, that's it. Those are all the books that I added to the collection in the month of June 2024. The July comic haul, I'm expecting to be a lot lighter. We got like a couple of select books coming from Marvel, but not a whole lot. And then I got to stop spending money. So light load for July, a fun load for June though. And there we go. I am so sick of trying to carry all these in one hand. So that's going to do it for this video. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in another one soon. Until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.